Hey Taurus, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a general check-in for you Taurus. What's coming next? Strong placements, Sun, Moon, Rising and Venus. If you don't know what your placements are, please check out the link in the description box. You can do a birth chart analysis and figure out if you do have any strong Taurus placements. I am reading for the collective Taurus, so there might be some very specific messages that come through depending on which energy is coming through the strongest. So if those messages don't resonate with you, please don't try to force it. Okay. There's been a lot of transformational work going on with all the zodiac signs that I picked up in a lot of the love readings, and for your sign as well, Taurus, a lot of work that you were doing in terms of setting boundaries, growing your self-worth, leveling up your self-worth, and in the process maybe losing, what doesn't serve you anymore. Or not losing, just purging what no longer serves your higher self. So let's see, Taurus. I'm going to draw 6 cards and then we'll see what's going on with you. So Spirit, please and thank you for the sign of Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. What is coming next? What is coming next for the ball gang? Please and thank you. Only messages of love and light. Negative energy must leave the space now for Taurus. Let's see. Oh, 4 of Cups energy. A missed opportunity, maybe. Emperor. Wow. Divine masculine energy. 4 kings in 1. Card of Aries, Major Arcana, 10 of Pentacles. Wow, Taurus. The ultimate manifestation of abundance in the physical world. 5 of Swords, so some conflict, maybe some overthinking, self-sabotage, some shadow work. Definitely going through some shadow work here, Taurus. The Queen of Cups, card of Cancer. Very nurturing energy. I'm getting self-love. And the 8 of Wands. That's a very fast-moving energy. It could be communication. It could also be spiritual downloads or messages that you might be getting, Taurus. At the bottom of the deck, the 2 of Cups. So this could be, again, relating to love, Taurus, or a divine soul connection, a soulmate connection, a twin flame connection. That was missed. I just want to clarify so that I get the storyline, because I was not expecting that for Taurus. I was not expecting the 2 of Cups energy. Please clarify for Taurus, please and thank you, Spirit. The Wheel of Fortune. So something is shifting in your space, Taurus. Wow. The Death card. Major Arcana and the Star card. Wish fulfillment. Wow. And at the bottom of this deck, the Five of Pentacles, which is feeling left out in the cold, abandonment, being ghosted. I do feel like there was a missed opportunity here, Taurus. So let's start from the beginning. The first card that came out, the Four of Cups energy. This is, looking at the past and regretting something or some opportunity that was missed. And it could very well be this Two of Cups energy or this twin flame energy. If it is a deep soul connection and an intense soul contract, then it will feel incredibly painful to let go of. And you could be having lingering thoughts about this connection, Taurus, and thinking that this was the one that got away. This was, a huge missed opportunity. What I'm feeling from this card, though, is that there was some, miscommunication because of the willow tree symbol there, and I've never picked that up before or picked up on it, but they're pointing my energy to the willow tree. And if I think of a willow tree and I think of the leaves and the branches swaying in the wind, that's air energy and heart energy. So what I'm feeling in this connection is that there hasn't been a heart-to-heart conversation. That conversation is missing. And either you or your person, for the cross watcher, is focusing on any previous communications that might have led to a conflict or a period of silence, which is happening right now. I do sense a stubborn energy or an energy of pride from this person, whoever it is, and take it how it resonates for you, Taurus. It doesn't have to be a romantic connection, although the Two of Cups is very much about, a partnership, a romantic partnership. It doesn't have to be that. It could be family, it could be friendship as well. But in this miscommunication or whatever misunderstanding is happening here, there were a lot of emotional triggers that were activated on both sides. And this is something that your person is not yet willing to immerse themselves into. In fact, they feel quite scared and fearful, and I can even use the word terrified, of going there, of going to that deep place that was triggered. It could be a deep insecurity that they tend to mask. It could be a fear of being abandoned by you or being judged by you. But this goes very deep in your person's energy, I would say as far back as childhood. It's something that they haven't really processed and faced fully. They tend to avoid it because it is too painful. And if they can't see what's down there, in delving into the shadow work, and I did say there is some shadow work going on here, but it may be for both you and your person. If they are not able to see what's underneath, or what's inside the Pandora's box, because once you open up the layers, it starts peeling away and there's more and more to uncover. But you get stronger and stronger emotionally as you work through that. But it isn't an easy process. Anyone that has ever done, gone into the unconscious self and gone into limiting beliefs and patterns about how we show up in the world, it's a destruction of self. And I think that is why the Death card is here. It is a complete destruction of everything that you know, which is terrifying. It can be extremely terrifying because it rattles your sense of safety and foundation and everything that you're used to. Your way of being, your way of communicating, your way of loving as well. And because your person, I feel, is, and I feel like this is your person, Taurus, male or female, it doesn't matter. But I'm picking up this body language or this boundary, or the sense of pride and the sense of stubbornness around not wanting to go there with you right now. And you, Taurus, you're not afraid to delve into that, is what I'm sensing. There is a sense of patience that you're having with this person, allowing them the space that they need to process what it is they need to process. But I do get a very stubborn energy, and the card that came out after the Four of Cups is the Emperor energy. And the Emperor energy is the most evolved masculine in the deck. It's a major arcana. It's a card of Aries. You could be dealing with an Aries. But the Emperor can be extremely stubborn as well. The shadow side of the Emperor can be very stubborn, very controlling, and very manipulative. So if either you or your person feel that you're losing control of the conversation or of the relationship or of the situation, you can go into an energy of manipulation to try and regain that control. It's also about evolving into this masculine energy, and there could be some father wounding that's going on here for you or your person. But I'm feeling that whatever this emotional block is, whatever this emotional challenge is with you or your person, has got to do with something relating to a father figure or a masculine figure in your world that is very respected, or that was very respected. And it's reconciling, loving this masculine for the role that they play in your life or that they stand for in your life, versus, the mistakes they might have made when they didn't know any better. And I do feel like this is, childhood related. So your person could be in denial about how deep the trauma goes, or how deep the hurt goes relating to this masculine energy in their world. And opening up that wound would mean they would need to face some very hard truths about this person, about this masculine figure. But without doing that, we can't evolve our relationships, and we can't evolve our inner landscape, our emotional inner landscape. So we end up repeating cycles. And I do feel like clarifying with the Rider-Waite, with this Death card and the Wheel of Fortune here, is it's an ending to a repetition of a cycle. I think what's happened here, Taurus, is you've seen the truth of the matter and how this person tends to respond, especially when the conversation gets emotional. There's a shutdown, or there's a trigger that causes this person to run away, to block, to avoid, to try and move past the conversation as quickly as possible. And this is what you're picking up, is that there's an end to this cycle in this communication, in this way of communicating. Because it's repetitive and you can't keep going there. There has to be a complete reset or a death of the old way of showing up for each other, for there to be a new beginning with this Wheel of Fortune card. Sagittarius energy. Sagittarius and Scorpio energy. So you could be dealing with either of those signs, but this is major arcana. This is major arcana. So I do feel like there's some divine lessons going on here, and that this is a soul contract meant to bring both of you some kind of lesson. I do, though, feel that there is going to be healing in this situation, Taurus. 3 major arcana. That's massive, clarifying your reading today. The Star card is a card of Aquarius. You could be dealing with the Aquarius, but it represents wishing and it represents healing. I do feel like the situation is on the path to healing. Even if there is no communication right now, your person is working with a lot of deep wounding and deep trauma that they may have been avoiding for a lot of their lifetime. That's now come full circle for them to face. It's not something they can ignore anymore. And I also sense that, Taurus, you are realizing that you can't step in to save this connection any longer. It has to be the only way that the situation is going to change, the only way that this relationship and the dynamic of the relationship is going to shift, is if your person can step into the space with you and be willing to unpack, whatever emotional turbulence is going on there. I do feel like you are open, to reconciliation with your person, Taurus, but you're also patiently waiting for them to be in the right space, for them to be ready and willing and available to do that with you, because you can't hold it together on your own anymore. I do feel a pause with your person, Taurus. I think what also might be happening here is a fear of commitment because of the abandonment that might occur from that. So I do sense that your person might feel that you are a flight risk for some reason, Taurus. And when that happens, when we are in a mindset, and the Five of Swords is a difficult mindset to be in. It's overthinking. Those fairies in this card, in the Witch's Tarot, are all of those voices inside of your head. It's almost like little mosquitoes. It's like an annoying energy that goes round and round in your mind, causing you to overthink a situation or causing you to have self-sabotaging thoughts about the situation or projections about the situation without actually clarifying it. But you can't, because the communication at the moment is too difficult for you to step into that space. So until both of you are ready to clarify and to sit down and have a full heart-to-heart, deep, honest, authentic, real, vulnerable conversation about this, then you're always going to be playing the guess game as to what is actually happening with your person. With that moth energy here, I do feel like this is really going deep into the shadow side of what is going on in the connection. And it feels extremely scary and painful right now, because there are certain truths, and the swords are truths as well. There are certain truths that were revealed by this most recent interaction. Certain truths that I think you both have always known, but maybe avoided and glossed over. When we are in this Five of Swords energy as well, in the five energy, and scared of change and not wanting to commit or move to this level of complete commitment and dedication and consistency in the physical world, which is what the Ten of Pentacles is. We choose situations, and I did say earlier that your person might think that you are a flight risk, Taurus. And so that's not a safe option for them. This could be vice versa as well. It's not a safe option for them because this is the energy that they're afraid of. They're afraid that if they give in wholeheartedly, with all of these 10 pentacles, if they invest all of themselves into this, they're afraid that they might not get the 5 back from you. That it will end up being a situation of abandonment, because I do sense that your person struggles with self-worth. I think on both sides, you both have the same wounding around abandonment and around self-worth. And this is what this overthinking is. So what then happens is we choose the safest option in love, in situations, in career, in our choices. We tend to choose the option that is certain and that is safe, and not always the option that is the healed version of ourselves. We're choosing from a version of ourselves that is traumatized and hurt. I do also sense that this is where this fear of committing to the relationship is coming from, Taurus. Your person is missing your energy, though. I do feel like what you gave this person was a very nurturing, motherly, feminine energy, a very real kind of love. And I'm not sure that they've ever experienced that kind of love at all. And there is this missing energy that I'm sensing between the both of you, that, you know, when you lose a love like this, a love that feels warm, that feels nurturing, that feels like home, it feels like coming home, it leaves a big void in your energy field. And there's very few people you can find this type of connection with. Card of Cancer. You could have strong Cancer placements, Taurus. Your person could have strong Cancer placements. But this is actually what they yearn for in the connection. This is actually what they are missing the most in this connection. But sometimes the Queen of Cups can be overgiving. And overgiving is an imbalance of your heart space and your heart chakra, Taurus. It's always important to balance the mental, the heart, as well as the gut, brain, physically, to align all of those three so that you don't end up missing, things that need to be healed in the relationship. If we're only thinking with our heart space and with our emotions, we can overlook a lot of what needs to be healed in the connection that may not even be working for us, whether it can be healed or not. That's also the question we need to ask ourselves. Is this an energy we want to step into again? Especially if it's not being replenished. The Queen of Cups, as Cancer energy, tends to look after everyone else around them except themselves. And that can lead to depletion, energetically, exhaustion, and also overgiving. When the heart chakra is imbalanced, that is what happens. We feel safer overgiving. We'd rather do that than lose what we think is true love. But true love is not selfish. It is reciprocated. And I think that's what you are learning, Taurus, in this connection, is if you're not getting the same energy back, the level of depletion of yours got to a point where you needed to pull your energy back. And not out of a lack of love for your person, but more out of a growing love for yourself and what it is that you need. I feel like even though there's no communication in the physical world right now, that there is telepathic communication. The wand energy is fire energy, also a card of Sagittarius. It's downloads from spirit, it's messages from spirit, it's signs from spirit. It's an 8 card, which means prosperity. So it feels very positive for you or your person if this message is resonating with you. It feels like this is a blossoming new cycle in the connection. The death of the old, once and for all, because I do feel like there were a few repeats of the same cycle with this person, but because you always hitting a block, an emotional block, either from you or your person, and not willing to go deeper into the connection, you will repeat the same cycle until one or the other is willing to step forward or to immerse themselves and commit emotionally and invest emotionally. Not only into the relationship, but into your own growth. So you might be receiving a lot of, messages this could be dreams as well. You could be dreaming about this person, and it feels really real, and that's because their energy is with you. You're thinking about each other. With a twin flame or deep soul connection, this telepathy is very, very strong. And again, I'm sensing it's a once in a lifetime type of connection, because you don't get this, with day-to-day relationships. You do communicate with each other on an energetic level, so you could even feel them in your energetic field. I do also sense that there's a lot of passion in this connection. You could be missing the physical intimacy with this person, or they you, and you feel that as well. So you could be having dreams of intimacy with them. There is a thread, and if you look at this red cord wrapped around one of these, these ones, that is the thread that's holding the connection together. And I know there's a lot of practices and rituals that say we should cut the cord, but it's not that easy to do. And I'm not actually sure myself whether the cord can be cut or whether it's just integrated, and whether the attachment to it becomes less. We can always have a tether and an attachment, energetic attachment to a person. But it's how attached we are to that tether, then that's when that dictates how much control it has over you. But with these types of connections, I don't think that the energetic signature or the cord can ever be fully dissolved. It's always there. It's just learning how to live with that and integrate that, and not let it overwhelm you, because this energy can also be very overwhelming. It's very fast moving energy, and it stirs up a lot of emotion as well, especially if you're trying to heal your space and understand how you contribute to the connection. Receiving messages like this from their energetic field to yours can be jarring. It can cause a lot of this type of thinking, because there's a lot of noise coming through from your person. They could be infiltrating your energy field and yours, theirs as well, Taurus. So if you're feeling, drained and exhausted, or an energy that doesn't feel like your own, then, just say, return to sender with love. Return this energy, any energy that doesn't belong to me, please return to sender with love. But generally, it's a very positive card, and these are beautiful messages coming through for you to integrate, and for you to support you in the evolution of yourself and your person, so that when you do come back together, it's in a healed way with the star energy. This might not resonate with all of you, but both you and this person could have a very strong connection to the Pleiades, to Pleiadian energy, and very new to earth. Old souls, but new to earth. And that can mean that you or your person are extremely sensitive to the ups and downs of earthly relationships, because those come with a lot of pain sometimes, and a lot of trauma, and a lot of healing. And for a very, very sensitive soul, this is not always easy to do. So they will end up blocking that emotion out in order to protect themselves, and also because they have no idea how to integrate that or how to deal with that. Earth is one of the most difficult planets to exist on because of the sorrow and the pain that come with the joy, and we've got to learn to move through that as souls on earth, not to attach to it, but as the seasons change and move effortlessly and we don't question that, so do our emotions. They don't define who we are. They're not permanent. They're just here to flow through and show up for us. There's a lesson in all of it, and for us not to attach to that. So I do feel two very sensitive souls in this story, Taurus. There's a lot of healing going on here, and I do feel like, depending on the choice that you and your person make, because we all have free will, this reading is only, what the potential energy is or the potential outcome. But you both have free will to choose how you want to continue in this connection. And it is a very deep connection. I mean, just look at this energy. It's a very deep soul connection. And oh my word, I just saw this now, is the red tie around their hands. That's actually, a very Celtic way of getting married, of union, divine union. And with this Eight of Wands energy, you see how that ties up to each other. And that's the energetic connection and tie that I was talking about. That is something that is not easily destroyed, Taurus. So I do feel like there's a new beginning here for you and your person. Again, free will. You both are going to have to be able to step out of your pride and your ego and your stubbornness in order to choose to heal the situation. I just want to get an overall energy or outcome, Taurus. Let me choose the Witch's Tarot. What is the overall outcome for the situation for Taurus? Please and thank you, Spirit. Overall outcome. My energy feels very drained. And this could be how you're feeling in the connection, Taurus, which is why this healing in the space is so important for you as well. Overall energy. Okay, so there's still a lot of triggering going on, with you and your person. 5 of Pentacles energy, and that was at the bottom of the Rider-Waite deck as well. It is an energy of, and this is probably where the pride and the ego is coming from, is the fear of this abandonment. The fear of being forgotten, the fear of being disposable. That's a wound that both you and your person are working on. But I do sense that there is magic in this connection. Taurus, I don't know if you've ever watched the movie Stardust. They're just showing me that scene from Stardust where he gives, the love of his life, this snowdrop flower. And that connection ends up separating but coming back together again. And with the star energy here as well. So if you haven't watched the movie Stardust, Taurus, please go and give it a give it a watch. I'm just also sensing that there could be other energies here around the relationship that don't want it to succeed. And that could be affecting your person as well. It might not be physical energies, it could also be energetic, maybe jealousy or envy. That's also affecting, this connection. Okay, Taurus, I want to get you an oracle card as well for this reading. From the Angels and Ancestors deck. Overall advice for Taurus, please and thank you, Spirit. Heart Guardian. I don't think I've ever gotten this card before. Love and yet let yourself be loved. Exactly, for this connection. This is heart chakra energy. And again, I was picking up that imbalance, and an imbalance can look like, and from your side, Taurus, it could be the overgiving, and from their side, it could be the blocking of the heart. Not wanting to listen to the heart, not wanting to let themselves be loved. I don't think they've ever, and again, I don't think they've ever experienced a love like yours, Taurus, or what you were able to give when the Empress loves, when Taurus energy loves. It's on another level. It's Venus energy. And if your person is not used to that, it can be very scary. And the thought of losing that, even scarier. So this is the healing that needs to take place on both sides. I do sense it's heart chakra energy. I do feel that it's, for your person, it's more about not being afraid to be loved fully and to love, not holding back. And for you, it's learning how to love yourself more and not sacrifice yourself for connection, and how to balance your heart energy with stability as well, with foundation, with communication, throat chakra energy, and with mental energy and intuition. That's a beautiful way to end this reading, Taurus. So I'm going to leave that with you. I hope it resonated. If it did, leave me a comment. I love to read your comments. And sending you so much love. That is your symbol as well, Taurus, this rose energy. Rose essence as well works very well with the heart. But I do feel like this is what is blossoming in both of you. And it is divinely guided. This connection is being divinely guided. Hey Taurus, sending you so much love. Until next time, cheers.